Many of you often take or have taken amusement rides. We've all had the thoughts, what if right now, while I'm riding, the ride breaks and something happens to me? Unfortunately, history knows quite a few of these exact cases, and now you're about to learn about them too. This is Infinity, and in this episode, I'll tell you after what incident the weight limit was imposed on amusement rides, as well as show you the most frightening and creepy rides and cases in amusement parks. Why the weight limit was imposed. Slides are one of the easiest ways to get your adrenaline pumping. You don't have to perform incredible stunts, jump from somewhere, or take any other risks. Even if your weight is over 100 kilo and you really want adrenaline, there's a way out, and that's rides. For such lovers, back in 1999 in New York in the Darien Lake Amusement Park, a roller coaster with the proud name Ride of Steel was built. The mega coaster rises to a height of over 60 meters, and a quick descent down, almost falling from the top, allows the train to accelerate to almost 110 kilometers per hour. In 1999, a man weighing over 135 kilograms decided to take a ride on the roller coaster, and right during the ride, he fell out of his seat, despite all safety and protective measures. Fortunately, it wasn't high and he didn't fall from the very top, but from a height of only 3 meters. Although even that wasn't nice. After investigating, the park reported that the bindings worked as intended, but because of the man's size, the lock couldn't be closed as intended. The man was able to recover $2,850,000 in compensation, and after a bunch of new safety measures were put in place, including weight control, the roller coaster was back in operation. Son of Beast. Of all the roller coasters in the world, this huge wooden slide, called Son of Beast, is the most legendary. The amusement park located at Kings Island in Ohio originally had one roller coaster, which was called the Beast. A few years later, they decided to enlarge it, and like any good son, this slide grew much taller than its predecessor and became in many ways larger and more extreme. Son of Beast became not only the highest but also the fastest wooden roller coaster in the world. 125 kilometers per hour is the speed it's achieved by a rapid descent from a height of 66 meters. And as the cherry on the cake, this roller coaster was the only wooden coaster with a dead loop element when it opened in 2000. But no matter how you look at it, the basic material of this ride does nothing to make the ride smoother. Nevertheless, there were people who enjoyed the ride even though it was dangerous. In 2006, during another ride, the trains suddenly jumped as if they'd hit a huge bump. And at that high speed, the damage was severe enough that 27 people ended up in the hospital with serious neck and chest injuries. An inspection later revealed that the support beam under that section had cracked and split. The roller coaster was soon closed for repairs. In 2009, repairs were completed and the roller coaster reopened, but now people were injured even more often. Mostly concussions of varying degrees associated with severe shaking throughout the ride. Even after conducting a thorough investigation, the experts didn't find a single breakdown or bump. Nevertheless, due to constant problems, the roller coaster was closed indefinitely, and later in 2012, the incredible wooden giant was completely dismantled. Astronauts Chaos. There's an amusement park in Russia, St. Petersburg, called Divo Ostrov. In the very center of it, there's an attraction called Rocket. This tall structure lifts 10 people at a time who want to experience sensations comparable to flying into space. The seat looks like the seats in a real rocket, which guarantees a complete immersion experience. A long automated tower crane on 4 cables gradually lifts the rocket with people higher and higher, and then the fun begins. Not only do the people rotate in a huge circle, but the rocket itself is constantly spinning around its axis, creating a barrel effect, as if the passengers were really flying in a rocket over Earth. The flight footage alone can make you feel as if you're sitting in the place of these people in the rocket. The footage from 2009, on the other hand, can be truly terrifying. On that fateful day, the lives of 10 people literally hung in the balance after one of the rocket's cables broke mid-ride. It took rescuers more than an hour to get all the people down safely. Fortunately, no one was injured in the process, and everyone made it down unharmed. A full investigation of the incident revealed that the abnormal heat had heated the cables holding the rocket so badly that they, in turn, began to stretch until they completely collapsed. The attraction was closed for repairs and reopened to the public a year later. By the way, despite such fame, the rocket attraction is still popular. Human catapult. Attractions in the form of slingshots and catapults have become increasingly popular among adrenaline junkies in recent years, and it's not hard to see why. People are secured in a small metal capsule to which construction elastic cables are attached. All this time, the capsule is held by the launch pad, and when the cables are tightened enough, the capsule takes off into the sky with incredible acceleration. The launching takes place at a height of up to 140 meters, at a speed of more than 150 kilometers per hour. It's a great way to test yourself and your friend to see who has the better nerves, isn't it? Although it may be fun to watch from the outside, the passengers experience tremendous G-forces that can reach up to 5G. By comparison, astronauts experience 3 to 4G on takeoff, given that they have to constantly train themselves not to lose consciousness under such G-force, which is not the case for ordinary tourists. But losing consciousness is not the worst thing that can happen. In 2015, Drew Larson filmed his 13-year-old son preparing for a catapult flight. Moments before the passengers took to the sky, something unexpected and frightening happened. The wires on one side of the capsule broke off, hitting the asphalt with all their might, and only by some miracle not hitting the 13-year-old boy in any way. Human trebuchet. Have you ever dreamed of making a jump with a parachute? Or, for example, of flying out of a cannon? Or maybe you've even wanted to be in the place of a catapult shell. Trebuchet is a close relative of the catapult, which in the Middle Ages was used to siege well-fortified castles. Surprisingly, there were people who thought it would be fun to use a huge siege weapon in order to fly. Back in 1990, an extreme sports club in England assembled a huge trebuchet in Somerset County, which sole purpose was to launch people into a safety net nearby. For about $140, absolutely anyone could be launched at a distance of 30 meters without any safety harness. Of course, despite what the organizers said, the safety was relative. One of the women who decided to try such an attraction named Stella Young. Everything started well. Stella hit the target, but then almost immediately bounced off the net and flew beyond the fence. As a result, the woman was injured. But instead of shutting down the life-threatening entertainment, the organizers simply made the net bigger. It sounds as if the trebuchet is not an ancient siege machine, but just some fun for the rich. Perilous plunge. Perilous plunge was the world's tallest shoot-the-chute, located at Knott's Berry Farm Park in California. The shoot-the-chute took speed lovers 35 meters up before they hurtled down an incredibly steep slide at the speed of 80 kilometers per hour. Tourists were vocal about how much fun it was to ride, and the shoot-the-chute soon became a favorite. In 2001, just a year after the attraction opened, a 40-year-old woman fell from a height of 30 meters into a shallow pool and died. Rules required passengers to fasten seatbelts, and employees were required to check those seatbelts. However, the woman was riding at 10 p.m., when most likely the employee was already tired at the end of their shift. Investigators couldn't determine if it was the park's fault or if the woman herself violated safety rules. However, the park had to completely redesign the shoot-the-chute to make it rideable. It ended up running until it finally closed in 2012. Vortex. Many visitors to Thorpe Park go there to ride the incredible Vortex Frisbee. This enormous machine spins people around like a merry-go-round while swinging back and forth. With each swing, it lifts people higher and higher into the sky to a height of about 20 meters. Of course, it looks as if the purpose of this attraction is not entertainment, but a test of the vestibular apparatus. In 2018, people noticed how the passengers of this Frisbee begin to sway too much. Suddenly, right in the middle of the riding, something big enough fell out of the structure. The something fell right before the Frisbee made another half turn, and luckily it didn't hit anyone. Staff immediately stopped Vortex to investigate what had happened. From the ground, it appeared to be some important part of the structure, without which the whole thing could fall apart in a couple of seconds. A detailed inspection revealed that it was just a part of the seat that must have come off while people were upside down. It only took 15 minutes for the Frisbee to work again. The Smiler. Located at Alton Towers Resort in British Staffordshire, a roller coaster called the Smiler holds the record for the most spins among the most roller coasters. But in 2015, speed lovers' worst nightmare became a reality. An empty train was left without control, and a train with people crashed into it at a speed of over 144 kilometers per hour. CCTV footage captured the entire accident, so there was no denying that negligence was the cause of the accident. Fortunately, no one was killed, but the 5 passengers were injured, which will affect their health for life. The resort was sued, and the owners had to pay a $1 million fine for their negligence. Nevertheless, once they made 30 different changes to improve safety and revised business management rules, the roller coaster reopened in 2016 and have been operating ever since. Mindbender. The $6 million Mindbender roller coaster in the Canadian city of Edmonton beat the pants off many competitors. After its opening in 1985, it immediately gained the status of the tallest indoor roller coaster in the world. In addition to the height, which exceeded 44 meters, it could also boast a dizzying scheme with 3 vertical loops. However, on June 14, 1986, Mindbender brought great sorrow to several families at once. That day, after passing the second inverted loop, the last car of the train suddenly began to wobble and derail. Because of the damage, the restraints were unlocked and 4 passengers flew out of their seats. The investigation showed that the cause of the accident was a missing bolt on one of the wheels in the 4th train. Judging by the publications, no one was convicted for that either, and the roller coaster itself got off easy. After serious modifications, which improved its safety, it was reopened and is still in operation. That's all, guys. What's your favorite attraction? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you later.